Hello you guys on YouTube. We're back in Sydney. Look at my cute platypus. I saw my first platypus yesterday at the Taronga Zoo. And they're so cute. And they might now be my second favorite animal in Australia. After the echidna, which is my favorite. But that's not today's topic. Actually, I was thinking, oh, it's been a while since I made a video. And then I was like, you guys are probably starving to know what my opinions are, what's going on in my life. So here I am to tell you and to give you an update. Or rather, to give you a topic to talk about. Which is, insert picture. Oh my god, look, my shadow. I made a video a while ago talking about the fact that there doesn't seem to be a lot of podcasters I can watch anymore. Everybody's gotten way too extreme, or they're just selling out to whoever is funding them, or they're pushing whatever crappy merchandise that they want to sell to keep making even more money, and they're basically becoming the new elite or whatever. But a channel I have now started watching more regularly is by Andrew Gold. And his channel is called Heretics. And he did an interview with a man called Peter Tatchell. And I thought this interview was really interesting and enlightening. I definitely recommend you guys going and checking it out. I'll put the link below, and I put a little picture up here so you guys can see what it looks like. This Peter Tatchell guy, he has been on quite a few pundits that I watch channel as a far leftist with far leftist ideas. Especially he's very often on Piers Morgan as a counterpart to the more right conservative leaning people in the audience or pundits for whatever topics he's talking about. And anyway, Andrew Gold and him got together, and they once again were discussing like LGBTQF72 up down hashtag bar B TF car hashtag minus up down community and all the nonsense that they're all about these days. And what was so actually, I wanted to read to you guys the comment that I wrote to this video. And then I'm going to include the comment that I wrote as well so you guys can see it, but I'm going to read it to you guys right now, and then I'm going to kind of talk about a little bit more about my thought process in here. So, gay man here. I feel bad. Oops. Okay. And the video just started playing. Sorry about that. Gay man here. I feel bad for this guy, Peter Tatchell. I feel he, like many other social justice warriors, are so attached to the injustices of the past, aka their identity is so caught up with fighting injustices that they will not or cannot accept that we don't live in the past. We are living in 2024. Even his example, Peter Tatchell, of it being illegal to be gay in the 60s, yes, that was wrong. I myself marched for gay men's rights to get married in the early 2000s, but that was then, and this is now. It's like as soon as gay people got equality under the law in the Western world, these people felt lost and without purpose, and now they have to push this insane gender ideology crap. And if they got their way on that, they will start pushing the even more insane minor attracted persons crap. It's great to be liberal and empathetic, but not at the expense of other people's rights and safety. So this is kind of a continuation, or maybe even like a repeat of a lot of the topics that I've already mentioned, or things I already mentioned on my channel several times, where I think a lot of people who historically belong to the left, which is predominantly minorities. So black people, Hispanics, gays and lesbians, probably also more women are lean left naturally than men. there was a time, and this is where I think where a lot of people, they're so stuck in this ideology, in this belief, like it really has become a religion for them. They're like, I belong to the religion of liberalism, of the left. That is my religion. This is the people I go to church with, and I can't question anything. To a certain degree, it is kind of like church or a sect, where it's like, it's not okay to question what God is saying or what the Bible is telling you is the truth. You have to just go with it, hook, line, and sinker. And I think a lot of people on the left haven't been able to make the shift in their head and in their mind. That somewhere, I would say around 2015, and probably started a little bit earlier, but let's say 2015 because it's a nice, easy number to calculate. The left really has abandoned what it was about in terms of supporting minority groups of all kinds. You know, I think when it comes to the Black community, constantly pushing for more hiring quotas, affirmative action, these are things that are not helping Black people. All you're basically doing is telling Black people, we think you're not smart enough to actually make it on your own, or we don't think you have the ability to work hard enough to achieve something. We have to give you points, you know. But then at the same time, what happens is then people are always going to question and be like, well, did you legitimately get this job or this place in college because you deserve it, or are you a DEI hire, right? And it's not actually doing Black people a favor. And the same way I think that the left has really abandoned gay people for this want to now really latch on to this whole trans idea and this whole multiple genders idea, which is basically just extremely homophobic. It's just really telling little boys, if you want to put on a dress, if you want to wear pink, you must be a girl. If you're a little girl and you want to play trucks and rough around, you must be a boy. It's actually really regressive. It's not progressive at all, because we're now once again really typecasting people into very extreme gender norms, which is then completely illogical to the fact that they all want to claim that there's multiple genders all over the place. I'm like, well, if there's such an array or such a spectrum of genders, then why are you forcing little boys and girls who don't follow the gender norm, the binary, which of course is so triggering to the left now because there is no binary. It's like, well, if there's no binary and everything's on a spectrum, why are you then trying to tell these young boys and girls that they need to change their gender? These arguments are so weak from the left. And if you would just be willing to just take a little moment to question them, they would fall apart on you so easily because they're so nonsensical, right? So in this interview, Peter Tatchell, he talks about the fact that, you know, obviously in the 60s, he really fought for gay rights and the right, because it was illegal, and then just making it not illegal for gay couples to even openly date, to then finding ways for them to actually be safe in society and not be brutalized and murdered, to then going to where they have equality under the law, marriage, adoption rights, etc. And for all that, I'm like, thank you. I mean, like, so many of the rights that we as gays and lesbians and bisexuals have do come from the gays and lesbians that came before us, who did do the fight. When the Western world, this is very important, because it's not anymore, when the Western world still actually did have a problem with homosexuality and did actually we did have to worry about violence and stuff. This doesn't happen anymore. Is there a random case here or there where somebody might be potentially beaten up? Or, yes, but I'm gonna get in trouble for saying this. I feel like, first of all, it's so fringe nowadays, and so many cases that we see nowadays in the Western world, again, always I'm talking about the Western world now, of where, you know, like that, what was that guy's name? That actor, he was on that black show, Justin Smollett, is that right? Jason Smollett, something like that. We found out that that was staged. He wasn't actually treated badly for being gay. He wasn't beaten up for being gay. He staged it himself. There was a YouTuber whose name I forgot, and he said that he got gay bashed, and then it turned out that it was fake. So, can it still happen? Yes. Are we going to rid the whole world, the whole Western world, of homophobia? No. Are we going to erase all forms of sexism and racism from the Western world? No. But again, I've said this in so many of my videos, the only thing you're entitled to is equality under the law, which in the Western world we have. We can apply for any job we want, we can apply for any university we want, we can get married, we can own land, we can adopt. This is all you're entitled to. If you're going to continue seeing injustices as long as there's going to be people out there who aren't going to like you, then yeah, of course, we're going to be on this never-ending path of thinking that there is injustice and the world is horrible and we have to keep marching and put gay flags more everywhere and put more awareness everywhere and read gay stories to our kids and children, because at kindergarten they already have to know about how to eat ass the best way and all. You guys know I think all of this is ridiculous. No, you're never going to be someone in the world that is going to be liked by everyone. Even if you are a heterosexual, cis, white man, you're still going to have people hate you. Who knows? Especially nowadays, how many people are going to hate you? Even though you're supposedly on the top of the food pyramid, there's still so many people who hate you for who you are. People are going to hate you for the kind of clothes you wear. People are going to hate you for the kind of haircut you have. People are going to hate you for the kind of music you like, blah, 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 blah. So this utopia idea that everyone's just going to have to like you and be okay with your lifestyle is just ridiculous and not an achievable thing anyway. We have equality under the law. Be happy. Anyway, so they talk about that. I'm very grateful to him for that. I'm grateful that he marched for these things because, yes, these are equalities that I think are very important. And these were things where I was very liberal in my thinking. But now he's moved on, where I think he has internalized so much of his self-identification as a person to being this person who fights for people's rights and and now he is so pushing this idea of trans, and we have to support trans people and we have to be fair to trans people. And in the interview, one of the parts that I think was the most frustrating and interesting to watch was how he was so willing to say, you know, not all trans women that go into women's bathrooms are going to do bad things to women and are rapists or whatever, and it's not fair to then force trans women to go into men's restrooms where they have the chance of getting hurt or getting bullied or getting beat up, because they have the right to feel safe and all this kind of stuff. But then, in his head, he wasn't able to make the switch and say, yes, but women also have the right to feel safe and not to be harassed or bullied in their bathrooms. And even if it's not all trans women, which you guys know I don't believe in anymore, men, and even that's not all men who want to dress like women are going to harass women, the chances are getting higher and higher. And the simple fact is, a lot of people out there in the world are very disgusting, have no morals, have no ethics, and they're going to take advantage of loopholes when they find them. And this is a huge loophole. This is a huge loophole. Yes, I am sure that there is some gay men who are very effeminate, and they just think, I rather go through life pretending I'm a woman, and they don't want to harm women. They just want to pretend they are one. But I would say most women probably aren't even really bothered by that, because I think most women probably catch on pretty quickly. Okay, is this just a gay boy who wants to be a woman in my bathroom, versus is this a straight man who's putting on woman face for the sake of getting off, or for the sake of being able to get near women in a very vulnerable position. But I'm sorry, like, it's just weird to me how he was like, okay, he was like, men who want to pretend they're women have the right to safety, but women for some reason don't. And I'm kind of like, how are you able not to make the switch in your head to understand that what you're saying doesn't make any sense? It's kind of like, I already told you guys, I'm an old-time feminist. I'm like, I think we have to put women's rights over the rights of men wanting to pretend they're women. That's just the way I believe. I don't think that we should make laws saying that men can't wear women's clothes, whatever that even means, or have women interest, whatever that means. No, you have the freedom to do that, but you don't have the freedom to A, try to tell people that they have to say that you're an actual woman, because you're not, and you never will be, and you don't have the right to infringe on the spaces of women. We have created a lot of laws and a lot of legislations, and from the beginning of time, beginning of civilization, we have separated the sexes because we knew that women were in danger by predatory men. So it was really disturbing to me, because I feel like he is kind of a figurehead for a lot of people. And I don't want to go and talk about the black and Hispanic and women, all this kind of stuff. I'm kind of keeping it here more with the LGBT. But most of the LGBT, they're also really pushing this trans nonsense, these multiple gender nonsense, the pronouns crap, like all this stuff. They're really pushing this stuff as well. And I think it's because, yeah, I think there's something within a lot of people in our community where we have ingrained so much in our head that A, we're the victims, we're the perpetual victims in society. B, that we always have the moral high ground, and that the moral high ground is attached to being leftist. I don't know why I put my third finger up. Maybe make it like part 2B, part 2A. But it's just not the case anymore. We are no longer supporting the underdog. We are now actually hurting ourselves. We're hurting women. We're hurting everybody by following these ideologies that are just not factual anymore to what is happening in society. The way these people are thinking is like, well, with most movements, there has to be the beginning where you initially realize there's a problem. Then there has to be the middle where you actually fight the problem to gain the equality. And then there has to be the end, which in my opinion should be assimilation into the broader culture. It's like you had a problem, you had to fix the problem by gaining equality, and then you have to assimilate to the culture abroad. And then that movement is gone. But because so many people have not only made their identity about this, they've made their livelihood out of this, working for all these things like, what is that sign with the equal sign? It's a gay organization. I want to say the equality organization. What is it called? I don't know, whatever. Gay rights organization. Maybe it'll come to me in a second. And, you know, these people make money out of seeing injustice everywhere. The same thing with like Black Lives Matter. They can perpetually exist by constantly still finding problems everywhere. Women's rights activists, they manage to continue to survive because they have to continue finding problems. And when they realize, like, oh my God, in the Western world, men and women have equality, gays and straights have equality, blacks and whites have equality, well, that's bad for our business, that's bad for our identity, so we're now going to nitpick every tiny little thing and call it homophobia and sexism and racism, you know, just to keep this movement alive that is technically ready to die. It's ready to die. Like, and especially, and I think especially people that are on the left, and especially other people in the gay community who tend to disagree with me on, they're kind of like, you know what it's like to be oppressed, and now you're stabbing trans people in the back, and you know, or you want to gatekeep, and you want to say, well, I was with the movement of helping minorities, but as soon as you got what you wanted, now you close the door behind you and don't let anybody else through. The thing is that I always try to stress to people is like, these are two very different things. These are apples and oranges, and they really are. And hear me out for a second, because I'm going to tell you why. The difference is the gay rights movement, up to the point where I can support it, was saying we want only equality, and we only want things that don't hurt society at large by giving them to us. So, what am I saying by this? I am not making it impossible or illegal for you to get married by you extending the right for me to get married to a man, or for a woman to get married to a woman. You can still get married. You still get all the benefits of getting married. I don't take anything away from your right to get married by you extending the right for me to get married. I don't take any rights away from you, or like for black people, they don't take any rights away from white people by being allowed to apply for the same job or the same university as you, right? We don't take any rights away from women by saying that women have also the same right to the same kind of job that men get, or to live in the same neighborhood as men do, or whatever. We're only expanding the rights of people. I am totally for expanding the freedoms and the rights for anybody, even white people, straight people, whatever, black, Asian, Hispanic, whatever. I am totally for giving more rights to groups and to people as long as it doesn't impact other people's rights. But that is not what the trans movement is. That is not even what this gender non-binary movement is. What these people are doing is they want to gain rights by taking other liberties and rights away from others. So by saying, okay, now this man who wants to pretend they're a woman, yes, they should be allowed to dress however they want in public. They can even call themselves whatever they want in public. That doesn't take any rights away from me. And in that sense, I'm not bothered. And I would say most people in the Western world would not be bothered by this thought process. But if you're saying, these men who want to pretend they're women now should have the legal right to go into a woman's bathroom, or to join a woman's sports team, or to go into a woman's locker room, you're now infringing on the right of the women and their safety and their freedom and their rights. And I'm not going, that's not the same thing. Over here, gay rights, please expand the rights that already exist for straight people to encompass gay people without hurting straight people. Over here, the trans right is, please give us rights that now give us more liberties and more rights than actual women, and they have to accept the fact that their rights are being diminished. These are not the same thing, you people. These are not the same arguments. This is not the same scenario. If it was just, men should have the right to dress like women if they want, women should have the right to dress like men if they want, you should have the right to call yourself a woman even if you're not one because it makes you happy, fine. Where's the law? Where's the petition? I'll sign it. You're going to say that you want it to be made a law that I have to say you're a woman when I know you're a man? Now you're infringing on my rights? I'm not going to say that. You want a law that says even though you're a man, you should have the right to go into a women's locker room and infringe on the rights of women? I'm not going to sign that. I'm about expanding people's rights, not about taking other people's rights away. You're never going to get me to follow an ideology that requires other people to lose rights for you to get the rights that you think you deserve. Not going to happen. So I think it's really, I just think it's a shame. I think it's really sad. I feel really bad for so many people on the left who are, they have this like cognitive dissonance and this, I feel like just this really, I can't believe that the vast majority of the people on the left, most of the people in my community, that they don't have the mental capacity to understand that what they're trying to argue doesn't make sense. What I really think is there is that fear. It's like I said, I think all these people are feared that they're going to be excommunicated from the church of leftism, of progressivism. They're so afraid of getting shunned from this group that they rather go on and pretend that these things make sense and that these things are legitimate. And I think it just says a lot about our society. So that's like the main thing I want to talk about. I'm going to go on a little tangent now. If you're not interested anymore, you don't have to keep watching. But one of the things I thought was really interesting also was they kind of got into this conversation about identity. How do you identify? And it was kind of weird because Peter Tatchell, so he's the leftist, he was saying to Andrew Gold, who is, by this day and age, like me, would be far right extremist, right? But I would say he's maybe a little bit right of center, maybe. I would even probably say he's just a centrist, but a moderate, whatever you want to call it. So Peter Tatchell said to Andrew Gold, was like, okay, well, you know, you wear men's clothes, so you clearly identify as a man, and blah, blah, blah. And it was so weird to me, because I'm like, first of all, I think it's really speaks a lot about how narcissistic and self-involved we've all become as a society nowadays, where people are just sitting around constantly thinking about, what's my identity? Who am I? What am I about? Oh, me. Oh, me, I'm so in me. And more selfie pictures of me and more posts of me on Instagram. And, you know, like, if you see all these TikTok videos of people are just like, my parents from here and here. So my father, Brazilian, my mother, Nicaraguan. That makes me mix. Oh, I'm 5'7". I'm this. I like to eat these foods. And oh my God, I'm so interesting. I'm just like, God, the narcissism of people to like, this constant like me and everything about me and my identities and how I feel, and these are my pronouns, and these are the people I want to sleep with, and this is how I don't want to sleep with people, and oh my God, I'm asexual and I'm demisexual and I'm blah blah. I'm just like, what, Lord? It's kind of weird how, has anybody else noticed how like narcissism and being just a completely, excuse me for cussing, a completely fucking boring ass person with no character go hand in hand? It's like literally they go hand in hand. It's like the more narcissistic you are, the more boring your personality probably is, because you have nothing to show than to constantly talk about, oh yeah, this is what it's like to be a brown-haired man. This is what it's like to be a man with blue eyes. This is what it's made like. Life is a tall person. Life is a guy who comes from the Czech Republic. Blah, blah. I'm like, God, you people are so boring. You're so boring. There's just nothing to you. But anyway, they go into this whole discussion about identity, and he's kind of like, I identify as a male, and I identify as a gay person, blah, blah, blah. And in my head, I'm kind of like, I can understand where there are certain aspects of yourself where you could say, I identify, like I would say, you know, you could say, I identify as, I don't know, maybe, actually, no, you know what, I'm going to take it back. Like, there probably are some examples, but I can't really think of many right now. But to me, it's kind of like you can't identify as things. You either are something or you're not. I don't identify as a man. I am a man. It's just a biological fact. I am a man. That's it. I don't identify as a man. That doesn't even, it just doesn't even make sense to identify as a man. Men are not monolithic. I am a man, but I happen to like pink. I happen to like other men. I happen to not like sports. I don't like construction work. I'm not a rough and tumbler camping kind of guy, which is something that a lot of men do like. But I still am a man. It's just the way it is. I'm still a man because that's my genetic makeup. I am white. I don't identify as white. I was born to white parents in a white country. Ergo, I'm white. I don't identify as white. You know? I don't know, I am German. I don't identify as German. I was born in Germany to German parents. I'm German. You know, I don't know, what was I am gay. I don't identify as gay. I am gay. I like men for physical and sexual attraction. That's just the way it is. I don't identify that way. It's just so weird to me that these people are just like, I identify as a male, I identify as demisexual, I identify as a gym, I identify as blah, blah, blah. It's kind of like, it's like these are not, like, why, sorry, I think I just spit some food out. I ate right before this. Sushi! The sushi, very cheap and very good in Australia. Yeah, so I found that whole conversation so reductive and stupid. Like this whole like, well, they identify as women. They can't. This is the whole point. I'm saying if you just take a 1 second to turn on your brain. I know it hurts. I know it hurts. We live in a time where nobody wants to turn on their brain. Give me the mindless TikTok videos that tell me how I should think and how I should vote. What's her name? Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift says she votes with Kamala, so I'm going to vote Kamala because heaven forbid I do any thinking myself. She doesn't like Trump, so I'm not going to like Trump. That's all I have to do. TikTok says so. But, you know, but I'm asking you guys right now, I'm challenging you. For 1 second, turn on your brain and try to think logically. I know it's very difficult. I know. I can already tell. I can see the steam coming out of your guys' heads already. Like, oh, I know. Headache. Oh my God, I actually have to turn on my brain and do some individual thinking. Oh, it hurts so bad. And now think, try, I know, it's really hard. Try in your head to think of what the sentence, I identify as a woman. What the hell does that mean? Oh, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense because not all women think the same. Not all women have the same interests. Not all women look the same. Not all women are the same race, the same sexuality. Not all women are tall. Not all women are skinny. Women come in all shapes and sizes with all different interests. So how can you identify as a woman? It doesn't make sense, you guys. It's over. This topic is over. You can't identify as a je or je because there's no such thing as a je or je. You can only be what you are. If you were born a black woman from Nigeria, you will always be a black woman from Nigeria. It doesn't matter. You can move to any other parts of the world. You can start wearing men's clothes. You can start bleaching your skin. You're going to be a black woman from Nigeria. If you are a white man from Norway, it doesn't matter where you move in the world. It doesn't matter what body parts you cut off. You're always going to be a white man. That's just what you are. Not your identity. That's what you are. Case closed. Case closed. Move on. It's okay. Okay. You can turn your brain back off. All right, guys. That's it. Be safe out there. Bye. Bye from second cutest animal in Australia. Boop, boop.